I'll tell you one thing, it feels weird to be driving the Red Beast again. So what a location. I'm actually coming down here to do some coastal photography this evening, where I had to park, where you saw me at the start of the video, I had to walk through this sort of forested, wooded section here, and it's absolutely beautiful, completely unexpected. I think the first thing that I'm noticing, because I haven't been anywhere like this obviously in at least 2 months, is how much everything's grown. It feels like I've been teleported from what was essentially winter to a point now where we're getting on towards summer. If not, maybe we're in summer officially, I'm not sure, but it's crazy. Like, everything's so green, there's flowers all over the shop, and it's really nice, especially now that I'm back out and I suppose naturally really appreciating the intimate and smaller things within the landscape anyway. Pretty cool. But like I say, I'm here to do some coastal photography, so I'm looking forward to showing you this location. Somewhere that I've done a little bit of research on. I've never been to it, but I'm still within my 10-mile radius, right towards the edge of that radius. Admittedly, I think I'm about 8 miles, a couple of miles from the end of the radius, but I'm still within it, so that's all that matters. Also, thank you all so much for using that hashtag 10-mile radius on Instagram. Got some fantastic photographs on there. It was a lot of fun searching through them all, and I will announce my 3 favourites, or the 3 that I've picked out, at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But for now, I'm gonna get out of this little wooded section before I get distracted, and get down to this wonderful little area of coastline. So we're down on this beach. This is, whoa, I'll tell you what, this is gorgeous. Completely unexpected, I must admit. And I might as well tell you guys now, I've been inspired to come to this very location by one of you, by one of my subscribers. It was actually somebody that did the hashtag 10-mile radius challenge. More of that on the end of the video. But yeah, really glad that I decided to come here. You know what, I was just thinking that, I always had this idea that whenever the lockdown was to be lifted, I'd be like straight in the Red Beast, up to the Lake District or up to Scotland, and I'd be wild camping because it's that time of year. And I'm actually really looking at this as a huge positive. I would never have come to these sorts of locations, shooting local within a 10-mile radius. I just wouldn't have done it. So creating this has kind of challenged me in a way that I just think is so positive. To be exploring and discovering places that are within like 15 minutes drive of my house. Look at this, it's absolutely beautiful, it really is, and it's got so much potential for landscape photography. It's absolutely mint, and I think a lot of the time, for me at least, is I just need a bit of a shift in perspective. I often think that I have to travel in the Red Beast, I have to go all the way over the UK, but it's just not the case. And I just need to shift my perspective sometimes to realise that. I'll tell you what is good, the money that gets saved in petrol. That is a very big plus point. But yeah, cracking little location. There's a little cove down that way that I want to explore in a while, but for now, I'm going to try and find a composition around here. Let me just show you something, 1 second. Alright, so hopefully you can see some of these beautiful sort of coastal wildflowers. No idea what they're called. If you know, comment below. I always love to learn about these things, but you can probably tell we haven't got much light this evening, and it doesn't look like we're gonna get any for the rest of the night, even though I've come out for sunset. So because we haven't got any, the next thing that I always try to find is some sort of contrast. And in this case, I think we can get a nice colour contrast. And I think it's just going to be a case of trying to find the right bunch of these flowers. I'm going to get the wide angle lens out and really try and get in close, put them in the foreground, use them as a real prominent element of my composition. So I think it's just a case of trying to find the right bunch. So let's have a little look around. So I must admit, that is right there the most difficult tripod setup that I've ever had to do as a landscape photographer. That was ridiculous. It genuinely took me about 15 minutes just to get the tripod in the right position. Because what I generally do is I'll physically hold the camera pretty much where I want it, handheld, and then kind of just envision in my head where I had it held. And then usually that gives me a perfect framework then just to get the tripod set up. But that was a disaster. The legs were flying down into these crevices. This was wobbling all over the shop, this like middle center column. It was a nightmare trying to do it with the ball head and everything. Anyway, I've got there in the end, that's the main thing. Completely ridiculous, unorthodox position for the tripod, but it's getting me the shot that I wanted, and I think this is going to be pretty cool actually. It's been quite difficult settings wise as well. It's been a really challenging photograph, but I really like it. And when I was chatting to you about there, the image that I envisioned in my head, this is pretty much it. I really like it. We've got a nice bit of background looking back towards Ulverston, I think, over in that direction, back towards Cumbria somewhere at least. And yeah, it's ace. Now I needed a quick shutter speed here, as you can see here in that frame. They are blowing all over the place. It's not like massively windy, but I want to freeze the movement in these flowers to capture as much detail as possible. So I'm shooting at 1/640th of a second, so a really quick shutter speed, especially by my standards. And to get that shutter speed, I'm shooting at f3.5 and ISO 400. So I haven't had to bump the ISO up too much. I still think there's going to be a lot of detail in this photograph, and mostly in the flowers, which is what I'm aiming for. I'm focused on the flowers, and I was going to focus stack. I was going to focus one image on the flowers and then one image on the background and then blend them together in post-production, but if I'm being honest, I quite like the way the focus falls off in the background. It means that a lot more prominence is being given to these flowers that are already quite prominent and large in the foreground. You know, they hold quite a lot of visual weight down there, which is exactly what I wanted. I've decided to obviously shoot in portrait orientation, and I've got the flowers in the bottom right hand third of the photograph, or to the best of my ability with this tripod setup anyway. Yeah, so that's that. It's not really an image that I envisioned myself capturing before I came here. I thought I was going to get some nice sunset vistas, but nevertheless, that's what this challenge is all about, this 10-mile radius. Really trying to think outside the box, and I think I've done that with this shot.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon needs the sun, we don't care about the others. You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire. I just wanna love you, just wanna hold you, just wanna be with you till we grow old. Please tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my world on fire. You set my world on fire.
Right, so I'm just firing off a long exposure shot, and another beautiful little cove here. Feels really hidden and secret. I haven't seen anyone else around, and definitely has a lot of potential for landscape photography. One thing I will say is I think it'd be a lot better here at like proper low tide. There'll be loads more to explore. It'll feel a lot safer for one, and yeah, I think it'll just open up a lot more opportunities for photography. But it's still really beautiful. It's currently, what are we at now? About 4 minutes past 9, so we're pretty much at sunset now, and it's cloudy enough. It doesn't really look like anything's going to happen with the sky. We're not going to get any sort of traditional sunset, but I'm going to take a photograph nonetheless because I don't know, just something about this scene has really caught my eye, and I'm taking a shot that's really abstract here. I've got the ND filter on the front, and I'm going for a 4 minute long exposure, but there's nothing really in the photograph. There's just 3 elements, so sand, sea and sky basically, or it's like sea, sand, sea, sky. You'll understand when you see the photograph. But yeah, no, like, you know, prominent subjects or anything. Very, very minimal and very clean. That's a word that I really want to stress. I want it to be nice and clean, and that's one reason why I'm going for this really long exposure effect. To me, 4 minutes is pretty long. But yeah, nothing to write home about. I think it's going to be pretty pleasant. All in all, just really delighted that I found these beautiful couple of locations. So I'll show you this image now, and then I want to talk you through my hashtag 10 mile radius photographs. So stick with me. I hope you like this shot. Right, so time for the hashtag 10 mile radius challenge photographs. Thank you all so much for using that hashtag. It was really fun to scroll through all of these entries for all these photographs, and yeah, I've picked out 3. They're going to be in no particular order, and there was tons of mint photographs, but these are the 3 that, I don't know, I guess sort of resonated with me personally. So first up is this wonderful photograph from a lady called Jenny Rowley, or Ruffley. Really sorry, I'm not 100% sure what the correct pronunciation is there, but yeah, something really sinister and eerie and mysterious about this subject, this little hut and the little purple door, and it's kind of encapsulated with that caption down there at the bottom. And yeah, it just makes me want to know what's behind that door, what's going on. And I think one of the main reasons I chose this is I really believe this is the type of photograph that you'd capture if you know this woodland or this area locally. It's local to you, so you might take your dog on a walk there on the regular, and I guess in many ways it resonates with me because these are the sorts of things I'm looking for at the minute. These sorts of hidden gems, these hidden subjects that you'll never really see photographed, you know, and it makes a real change from my usual scenery, you know, the big vistas and the mountains. So yeah, that's one reason why I really like this photograph, but absolutely mint. So thanks a lot, Jenny, really appreciate your entry. I don't really know what to call it. Next up is this wonderful image from CJC_IOW. I believe this was taken on the Isle of Wight, and I assume that's what IOW stands for. But yeah, beautiful photograph. There's 2 reasons why this resonated with me really, apart from it just being a really nice image. Firstly, I used to do a lot of astrophotography when I lived in New Zealand, and I'm just not sure why I stopped. It can be quite hard work, but a very rewarding type niche of landscape photography. And yeah, just a beautiful photograph, and look at the colour of that sea. And secondly, I used to work on the Isle of Wight. I used to live down there for like 6 months, and on the weekends I used to stay on the island rather than come back up to the mainland. And I do a lot of exploring. This was way before I was into photography, but I remember I used to take my phone out and take a few snaps. Beautiful white cliffs and stuff down there, and somewhere that I definitely want to return to, you know, properly with my camera. But yeah, thanks a lot for that wonderful photograph, absolute mint. Now finally, and this is the one that I was on about earlier. This bloke, I think, lives around here. I don't know him. Please go and give all these guys a follow as well, show them some support. But yeah, this photograph was taken on this very beach where I'm sat now, and this was the inspiration for today's video and today's location. So Parky_photo, thank you very much, mate, for the inspiration. And yeah, this is a mint photograph, and like I said, this is what inspired me to want to come here. I wanted some of the light that he had on that particular evening. But yeah, beautiful shot, and on his account he's got many more wonderful photographs from this area if you want to check them out, if you like it around here. But yeah, mint. So thank you all very much for your entries or for using the hashtag, really appreciated it. And I'll do the same on Thursday's video. So if you want to keep doing it, I'll tell you what, I'm going to change the hashtag. I'm going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works. 10 mile radius was a little bit too vague, so let's go for hashtag 10 mile radius HT, just my initials on the end. And that'll be a lot easier for me to find. Hashtag 10 mile radius HT. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. I'm going to end my introductory offer price for my ebook. If you want to buy it before the end of this weekend, then do it soon, or it's just going to go up in price. Thanks again for all the support on that. Same goes for the print. If you want to buy a print, the 33% sale is going to finish by this evening, like Sunday evening. So again, my prints are never really going to be that cheap for ages to come, so if you want to get one, get in there now. Thanks for the support, much appreciated, and cheers for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one. Out.